situations. All right, let's go to the next guy that's been waiting for a while. America, what's up? Dude, we're talking to just freaking America. You want to interview or talk to America? Here he is, right here. America, freak yeah. What's up, America?
What's going on, Jay Dyer? It's Andrew Meyer.
Oh no, not Andrew Meyer.
You know I'm banned on here, right? I've been banned for like 6 months.
I remember you getting banned, but what was that over? I don't remember.
Well, I was just getting mass reported by literal communists and groypers, but I
Oh.
repeat myself.
And interesting. So how you been, man? What's on your mind?
Everything's good. I just saw your title here, and I'm curious. You know, Owen Schroyer and Andrew Wilson are about to debate Trump and Iran. I'm curious where you come down on which side of things.
I am opposed to the Iran strikes and war.
See, for me, everybody thinks it's like, oh, Trump is doing this for Israel, but I've been saying for months, he's doing this for the petrodollar. He's doing this for oil. And it's like all the news is coming out now, like the dollar just had its strongest its strongest month since September 2022.
Well, there could be multiple motivations.
That's true. That is true. And I think that's the split. Like every time that Mark Levin or Netanyahu or whatever is begging Trump and going ballistic and Trump's not doing what they want, it's because Trump is achieving his objective for America, but they want more for Israel. And I really think people don't see that Trump is not a puppet and that the things he do it's for the benefit of America. I debated Harrison Smith about this a week or two ago. Totally vindicated. Like, if you watch that, or you can't watch it, you listen to that debate, it's phenomenal. And everything I said to Harrison that he didn't want to accept, like, Trump said the things that I said like a day later. So it's like, it's totally vindicated.
Well, I've not heard that discussion, but I mean, I think if you look, for example, at the seizing of oil via, Maduro, that would seem to also prop up petrodollar. That would be something that would assist in the propping up of petrodollar. So, in other words, I think that's an instance where that definitely applies. Because
that's exactly what I said to Harrison, and he said, "No, there's no benefit to America or the dollar from us seizing Venezuela."
Well, I'm not even saying that I agree. I'm not even saying I agree with that action. I'm not sure what my position is on Maduro and socialism. I mean, I'm not pro-socialist, but I'm saying regime change type operations are very tricky and difficult to argue and debate because it gets into all these factors about, well, what's the greatest net positive for our people that's achieved via regime change operations. And I think one of the problems that if you start going down that route, then it opens the door for, Pandora's coochie, right? Pandora's box gets opened up. And then you have a justification for, well, I guess we can then just, could we then regime change any future potential problems with America or to America? Well, in that case, then we're basically just remaking the entire globe. So we might as well just be imperialists, which maybe imperialism in some sort of like Byzantine model would be something I would argue for. But I just don't think that, and I know that you're critical of Netanyahu and the existing power structure in Israel. So you would probably disagree with the view that this is all just Zionism. But my question to you would be, don't you think this is the Oded Yunan plan and the clean break strategy and the Seven Nations plan all just sort of in culmination?
I definitely think they're pushing for that stuff. Yes, they're definitely pushing for that. But that's not my concern here. I look at it only the same way Trump does, from the framework of what benefits America. And like the way you put it, it's like, do we want to be open imperialists? Like when I read Secret History of the American Empire by John Perkins when I was like 20, I was like horrified. Like, oh, we're taking out leaders in South America, just like murdering them and then getting the country to do what we want. I was never for that. But the way I look at the way things are now in the world, it's like, okay, the Chinese communists are all over the globe. They're in North America, South America, like doing a pincer movement on us. They were not only doing business with Venezuela, getting cheap oil from them, but like also puppeting.
I get the uh-oh, I hit mute. How long was I muted? Hopefully I wasn't muted that long.
I didn't hear you weren't muted at all. It
No,
sounds
no,
like
no, no, not to you. I accidentally hit the microphone button's really sensitive. So was it muted for just hopefully just a few seconds? But do you want to repeat the last thing you said, Andrew? Because they're gonna think I was, oh, you censoring Andrew. Go ahead and repeat the last thing you said.
Oh, they're censoring me. Jay Dyer is one of the most willing to debate men in the history of the world, so I'm not worried about being censored by Jay. The last thing I said, I think, was just like you were saying that the American and Israeli alliance has more than one motivation.
Right.
You know, China.
Oh, you were
and
talking about
the
China. Go ahead.
Bilderberg Group and,
Yeah.
and the WEF and Bill Gates. There's more than one motivation there,
Mhm.
but all of them, they want to fuck over America.
Yeah. I feel like we're not gonna fix anything in America until we get out of the mind frame of thinking that the next president can fix things. In other words, until we figure out that we're actually run by, people at Bilderberg Trilateral Commission, and I think there are wealthy banking elites and corporate elites that are not just Jewish, but there are also, APAC has a huge amount of influence on our foreign policy, Adelson, et cetera. So that's all a real problem. But for things to actually change, I think we would have to move away from those kinds of influences in our government, which is now pretty much admitted. Like it's pretty much admitted that, yeah, we do. Don't you think it's admitted that we do Netanyahu's foreign policy?
I think that last year when they wanted to keep attacking and Trump made them turn jets around, it shows who's the big dog in the relationship. Israel is a vassal state of America, not the other way around.
Well, then
And
why
I
then,
think
then why have we seen a suppression of the discussion of Epstein files being fully released, prosecutions? I mean, do you think that Epstein was Mossad aligned?
I think he was part of 4 different intel
Yeah, I agree with that.
agencies, a big honeypot
Yeah, I agree with
that
that.
benefited the MI6, the French intel, the CIA, and the Mossad. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
agree
it
with
was
that.
like solely the Mossad. I think it was
No,
a big
right.
joint effort.
Yeah, but typically that joint effort tends to want, and then you could have some disagreement, like back in the era of, say, Kissinger and Brzezinski, the establishment didn't always do everything that Israel wanted. But it seems like nowadays that there's less of that. The establishment tends to do more of what Israel wants.
Maybe so, but I'll tell you this. I'm not concerned about Israel. They're not my first issue. I'm concerned about what's good for America. And, the whole discussion around Iran and Trump's administration this time around, it's like, if you look at it from, is Trump helping America? The answer is he definitely is. And that's why I had that debate with Harrison, because like it or not, like imperialism or not, the Chinese communists, even on this app, on Twitter, they were crowing, it's going to be the Chinese century. It's going to be a multipolar world. The dollar won't be the world's reserve currency. Like they were bragging about this.
Okay.
And Trump changed the math.
But how does Iran help that exactly?
Well, first of all, the cheap oil that China was getting from Iran, not there anymore. No more cheap Iranian oil. Same with Venezuela's oil. No more. They're having to buy from us at higher prices. They're buying from us. So you have to understand, like, their economy has been running on this cheap oil. So now, instead of having slave labor and cheap oil, the math is changing for them so that it's not going to be so cheap for them to outperform everybody in the production of goods.
Okay, well, how is any of this okay? But hold on. So, like, if let's grant that argument, I mean, how is cheap oil going to help America and really hurt damage China from not being able to get access to that if the real problem in America is the Federal Reserve, and that comes out of like the Rothschild banking model?
That's the other thing I wanted to say to you is instead of them having the world's reserve currency and crashing the dollar, which was their plan, the petrodollar is now going to live for 1,000 years. The world's energy is going to be traded in dollars because the oil is in the U.S., in Venezuela, in Alberta, which is about to secede from Canada and do business with the U.S.
Well, I disagree with you on that point. I don't think that the petrodollar is actually going to last 1,000 years because any fiat currency, even if it's backed by supposedly oil, it's going to eventually collapse. For example, Biden, destroyed the dollar in terms of its purchasing power 20% alone under Biden during the COOF period. And if you remember when Elon was in there with, I'm not pro Elon. I'm just saying when you say, or I'm not pro or anti Elon. I'm neutral on Elon, but I'm saying when you look at when Doge went in and looked at the debt, he came out with the conclusion, and he could be wrong, but he came out with the conclusion that, well, actually we can't fix the debt. So it's like, and by the way, why would we think that? Maybe you were exaggerating when you said 1,000 years. I just thought that was funny, like a premillennial reign of petrodollar. Uh, but I mean, I mean, I just don't understand how that's gonna. I mean, the dollar was destroyed 20% purchasing power under Biden. How is petrodollar gonna prop that up?
Yeah, we're totally inflated for sure. But
Hmm.
again, the Chinese, and you can listen to the commies on the set, they were all crowing that the world's reserve currency is going to be the yuan because the Saudis, they had been decreasing the percent of their trade in the dollar and increasing their trade in the yuan. And China was getting this cheap oil from Iran and Venezuela, and their economy was set to overtake ours. Now, that's not the equation anymore. The petrodollar will reign. It will be supreme. You can say that, oh, all fiat goes to zero. I understand the history of it. It's a good argument. But if all of the world's oil will be traded in dollars, you can call it a utility token if that's how you want to put it. For I know you love crypto. Like, it's a utility token that will always have utility. It's
Well,
going
I
to
love
keep being the
Bitcoin.
world reserve currency.
I love Bitcoin, not crypto, and I don't think Bitcoin is just a utility token. I think it's actually, solid money. But okay, well, I don't that argument doesn't seem very convincing to me. It seems like a very speculative line of argumentation. And I get that empires operate this way historically with seizing resources. I still think that, to me, that's not a strong enough argument as to why Trump is doing what he's doing. And you'll notice, if this was actually to help the country and Trump was doing the right thing, well, then why have all of the worst operatives come out who were the never Trumpers, who are now MAGA and they represent MAGA? And Trump talks like Mark Levin's the greatest dude out there. And now all the people who've criticized him on this war are now the worst dudes out here. So, and again, Melania comes out basically saying the exact opposite of what Trump said, that no, actually, we do need to release the rest of the Epstein files. There needs to be prosecutions. So I guess Melania's not MAGA, and she's dumb too. She's low IQ. So we're all low IQ because we don't understand like the 66 dimensional chess moves. To me, that just doesn't make sense.
Well, I think he was very specific with who he called low IQ. And Tucker, for example, he had on some socialist and said that Christianity is socialist. I'm pretty sure you don't agree with that. And Tucker's had a number of other wild things that he said and had said on his show.
Well, every
Megyn Kelly,
person, hold on.
never Trumpers.
Every
She was the first one at the very first debate. She tried to knife Trump with the Rosie O'Donnell question, and he flipped it on her. That
Well, I
was
don't care.
amazing.
I'm not even talking about
And then
Megyn Kelly.
Candace Owens with the Egyptian planes is low IQ. That's a fact. And then Alex said that Trump should get 25th Amendmented, which I love Alex, but I mean, he needs to really walk all that crap back.
Okay, so do you not think that APAC has a massive amount of influence on our foreign policy?
I think it's overstated. APAC is an organization. If you want to say Israel rather than APAC, Israel has a very big influence.
Well, I mean, APAC's one of the entities that it uses. So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, but did you not admit earlier that from Oded Yanon all the way up through the Seven Nations plan, that is pretty much the same strategy that America has been constantly sort of roped into?
Again, I think it's very different. The reason Trump goes to Iran is very different from the reason Bush goes to Iraq. And the way they conduct the war, it just proves that out.
Why would that? Hold on.
No, that war that's going to have us embroiled there for decades.
Well, that's what
okay. He's doing airstrikes, and he's doing a resource war. Versus, what was the plan in
that
Iraq?
That was the same.
Didn't even take the oil there.
Well, it was the same motivations for all those wars, was control of resources, strategic location. I mean, no, I mean, military industrial complex, rebuilding those countries, all of those things were part and parcel of all of those wars. That's not.
I think there's a very different plan from we're going to control the world's oil under Trump versus Dick Cheney grifting money for Halliburton and getting troops killed and wasting
No, it's the
American
exact
money
same.
to
It's the
enrich
exact
himself.
same. No, it's
It's just
not.
not the same thing.
It's not. It's no. The people behind PNAC are the exact same neoconservatives with the exact same strategy as Netanyahu today. It's the exact same Likud strategy,
I
no
concur
different.
with you there. And the
Well, then
reason
you admit
Mark
my
Levin
point.
and Ben Shapiro want this now is the same that they would want it 20 years ago. I
Well, then
concur with
that's
you
admitting
there.
my point.
I'm saying that the reason it's happening in Iran, even Bush didn't do Iran. The reason it's happening in Iran is because Trump is doing things for the benefit of America, not for the benefit of some other country.
But again, I don't see how your argument was just that Iran will somehow make the petrodollar last 1,000 years.
Yeah, go look at the maps. You can go on my profile right now and look at all the pictures. All of the ships that have left
Well,
the
dude,
Strait of Hormuz
we have
are
enough
like
oil.
have
Hold
been
on,
going
hold
into
on.
America to
We
go
have
buy
enough
oil from
oil in it,
us.
but
We are the broker of oil in the world right now.
we have enough oil in the U.S. that we don't even need any of those, right? We don't need Saudi oil. That was a deal brokered by Kissinger to make the U.S. dependent upon a globalized monetary structure via Bilderberg. That was all in the 1970s, Carter Kissinger Bilderberg era to strategize how to put the U.S. into an international petrodollar situation. But there's enough oil in the U.S. in our reserves and in our untapped areas that we wouldn't even need Iran's oil. So this is really just a. I think it sounds like you're rebranding it, and you're saying, "Oh yeah, well in the Desert Storm and Operation Enduring Freedom and all this other stuff in the past." That was, Israeli neocon strategy. This is not that because Bush didn't take the oil and didn't do Iran. Well, that's because there was enough opposition that he wasn't able to. But with Trump, they don't even need opposition. He just does it anyway, does whatever he wants. So I think I don't, that is not a consistent argument. It's exact same Israeli foreign policy strategy all the way back to Oded Yanon.
Totally wrong. If you look at the consumption of oil in the world right now, it didn't flip to be America first when we were doing the Iraq War. That was not the situation. What just
I
happened
didn't argue that.
is flipping the consumption of the world's oil from foreign to American domestic. People are coming here to get oil. We are in control of the world's energy market, and that's because of Trump.
Okay, but none of that addressed the argument that I made that it's the exact same neocon strategy that was essentially behind nine
No,
eleven.
no. You're I think conflating two things. I agree with you that the neocons and all those people, their premises and what they wanted is all the same. But Trump's motivation is different, and the outcome is different.
Well,
Which is why I said you didn't see all the ships lining up to buy American oil during the Iraq War. There is a benefit to America. That's why Trump is doing this.
okay. Again, I mean, so if that was the case, then does it stand to reason that every perceived benefit to America could then justify anything such as false flag events, such as, I mean, would 9/11 could we now revise that as something that benefits America?
No, first of
Why?
all, not only was 9/11 evil, but it wasn't done for the benefit of America. What? I don't even
No,
understand
no, no. I'm
the
saying
premise there.
what I'm saying is by your line of reasoning, if you could justify a false flag or any foreign intervention by quote what benefits America, then wouldn't you open up Pandora's coochie?
No, so when the Iranians had American troops on their knees on an American vessel under Obama, that right there was enough cause for war. These people are at war with us. They declare it all the time. And China is the delivery system for their weapon systems. They're not going to do open warfare with us. They're doing sneaky things like trying to destroy our food supply.
No, but that wasn't
There is an
that
alliance.
wasn't the argument I made.
What's
No,
that?
that wasn't the argument I made. I said if you're going to argue that Trump's motivations to do this for the good of America allows for these types of strikes and whatnot, then could we then argue that any operation that is under the aegis of supposedly benefiting America could then be justified, including false flag events, including,
No,
why?
absolutely not. Killing bad guys in Iran is not the same as killing American civilians. It's totally not the same thing.
No, no, no. I said any well, well, hold on though. If it had benefited America, then why not sacrifice some American lives?
No, that's evil.
Well, then the Iran war would be evil because some American lives will be lost in the Iran war.
No, that's defending yourself against a nation at war with you is not evil because some of your soldiers
No,
were
no,
fighting
no.
a
It
war.
doesn't matter.
That's
Well, it
crazy.
doesn't matter if you recast it as defense because the argument was about justification of foreign strikes and foreign operations. And you said if it benefits America. And then I argued basically, well, what if losing American lives also benefits America? Why would it not still be beneficial and justified?
Well, the example you gave was murdering our own people in cold blood versus defending ourselves in a righteous war against enemies that are literally trying to poison and kill us. Yeah, there's a very big difference. It's very obvious.
But what I'm saying is, yeah, I understand that there's a principle of self-defense. What I'm asking is, if the justification is what benefits America, then you've moved the goalpost to say that unless it's, the loss of American lives in self-defense. So it's beginning to be arbitrary because what if, let's say for the sake of argument, a false flag event on American soil that kills 1,000 people, but it has the net effect of turning all of the world against Iran, and then Iran collapses and we win, could you not then argue that that was a justified approach given the original argument that the ends justify the means, basically?
This hypothetical has nothing to do with reality.
Oh,
Though.
come on, dude. It has everything to do with reality because that's exactly what, come on, Andrew. That's exactly what 9/11 was about.
No, but I'm saying 9/11 in Iraq different from Iran and Trump. These are not the same.
That's not relevant to the argument I made to you. I'm talking about the ethical line of argument in terms of justification.
9/11 ethical? If we had gotten
No,
the benefit
that's
from
not
the
what I
oil,
said.
no, it still wouldn't have been ethical.
What? No, no,
for
no. Listen,
Americans.
I'm saying your line of ethical reasoning would also seem to justify something like 9/11 if you could show that it benefits America in the long run.
No, it's still not ethical to murder Americans. Like us going after Iran's oil and
Then you
Venezuela's
can't
oil,
make the argument that
these people
it's.
have been sending us,
Then you can't make the argument
weapons.
you made. So you just refuted yourself.
No, I didn't.
You said that it benefits America in terms of the petrodollar. Then that's why Trump's doing it.
No, yes, that's why he's doing it, but it's also a righteous war. Like there are two things happening. It's both beneficial to America and it's righteous. They're at war with us.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that was a great exchange, Andrew. Appreciate you calling in.
Always fun to talk to you, Jay.
Absolutely, Andrew. You're a good debater, a fun guy to talk to, and welcome back anytime. We are going to move on to the